everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm showing you how to make these cute mason jar tissue holders with your Cricut. This is a fun and easy project and I'm excited to show you how to make it. For this project you'll need a smooth-sided quart mason jar, some cardstock, and I used 100-pound cardstock. You'll need chalk paint and a paintbrush, vinyl and transfer tape, your weeding tool and scraper, perfect fit Kleenex tissues, embellishments are optional, and you'll need your Cricut, a cutting mat, and the cut file. So grab your supplies and head over to your computer.
The first thing we need to do is grab the SVG file we'll be using for this project. You can get it for free on my blog at burtonavenue.com. I keep all the SVG files for these projects that I make and share in my free SVG library. These files will work with all kinds of cutting machines and they're free to everyone. Once you're on my site, just click on Free SVG Files and then Free SVG Library. You will need a password to get into the library and there are instructions on the screen if you need to get one. Once you're in the library, you can search for the file Tissue Jar Sayings. It will either be listed under the most recent projects and cut files or under the everyday category. You can also use your browser search to find it. I've added the unique code BA1464 after the file name to make finding this design a little bit easier. Once you've found the file, go ahead and click on that link and the file will be downloaded onto your computer. Now when you download these files online, they come in a zipped folder and you'll need to unzip or extract them before you can use them in Cricut Design Space. To do this, you'll need to go to the location where downloaded files are saved onto your computer. Once you're there, look for that zipped folder that we just downloaded and double click on it. A new window will open and somewhere you should see the option to extract or unzip. Click on that. And another window will open up. And this will show you the destination where the unzipped files will be saved onto your computer. And you need to remember this location because you'll have to get to it once you're in Cricut Design Space. Now go ahead and click on Extract. And those files will be unzipped and they're now ready to use in Design Space. So let's head over to Cricut Design Space and start a new project. Once you're on the Canvas screen, you can click on the Upload button and then click Upload Image and then click on Browse. And now you'll want to go to that location where those unzipped files were saved onto your computer. Once you're inside of the folder, you'll see several different file types listed, and we need to use an SVG file. But you'll notice in this list that there isn't an SVG file. And that's because on my computer, the SVG files are actually showing up as a Microsoft Edge HTML document. It could also show up as a Chrome HTML document. So if you don't see SVG in this list of files, be sure to look for one of those instead. So select the file and then click Open. Make sure it's the design you want to work with and then click Upload. Select the design one more time and click Insert Images. And now the design will appear on your Canvas screen. So the first thing that we're going to do is ungroup the design so that we can work with the individual sayings and resize them or delete them if we're not going to use them. You'll notice that if you select any portion of this design, it selects everything and you can't work with those individual sayings. So to fix that, you'll right click and choose Ungroup. And that will just break apart the design so that you can work with each saying. So I'm going to delete this one up here by selecting it and clicking on the X. And then I'm going to resize these other three designs to 3.5 inches wide. And I just found that that was a good size to fit on the mason jar. Once they're all resized, I'm just going to move them all up to the top. And then select all three designs and right click and choose Attach. And that will just lock the designs into the same order that we see on the screen. So now those are ready to go. Let's work on this little circle down here. So we need to resize this so that it fits on top of the mason jars. And mine measured 3 1/4 inches across. And you can just measure yours to make sure they're the same dimension. And then you'll want to make a copy for each jar that you're making. So I'm doing 3 jars, so I'm going to make 2 copies. Then you can line your circles up, and then you can select those and right click and attach those as well. So we'll be cutting these circles out of a heavy cardstock, and we'll be cutting these sayings out of white vinyl. So now we can click on the green Make It button, and then you'll be taken to this screen. And this screen will just show us our 2 different mats with the different designs on each mat. And as I mentioned before, mat number 1 will be cut in white vinyl, and mat number 2 will be cut out of a heavy cardstock. So if everything looks good, you can click on the green Continue button. Once Design Space finds your Cricut, you'll be taken to this screen. Make sure that your dial is set to vinyl, and then you can go load your cutting mat. So place a piece of white vinyl on your cutting mat and smooth it out so there aren't any wrinkles or bubbles. Then you can load it into your Cricut by pressing that up and down arrow button. When your Cricut is ready to cut, you'll see the C button light up. Press this and the machine will begin cutting. Once everything is finished cutting, you can press the up and down arrow button again. Remove the white vinyl from your cutting mat and place on a sheet of heavy cardstock. Load that into the machine by pressing the up and down arrow button, and then turn your dial to Custom. Then head back over to Cricut Design Space and click on Browse All Materials. And then you'll want to click on Heavy Cardstock and click Done. And I'm also going to increase my pressure to more. So now you can go back over to your Cricut and press the C button to cut out the cardstock. Remove the cardstock circles and set them aside until later. Grab the piece of vinyl and cut away any unused portion, and then weed away the excess vinyl around the vinyl designs. You can use a weeding tool to pull out the tiny pieces inside of the letters. Cut a piece of transfer tape a little bit bigger than your design and place it sticky side up on your work surface. Then place your vinyl on top of the transfer tape and smooth it down. Rub over the design firmly with your scraper. Then you can trim off the excess transfer tape and vinyl backing. And if you have more than one phrase, you can cut those apart. Now that the vinyl's done, let's work on the mason jars. Remove the lid from your jar and clean it thoroughly. You can use rubbing alcohol or you can just wipe it clean. To avoid getting fingerprints on the outside of the jar, I decided to wear gloves while painting. Paint the jar with a nice even layer of chalk paint and allow it plenty of time to dry. On the second layer, you'll want to make sure you do long, even strokes with your paint and try to only go over each area a couple of times. If you keep brushing back and forth, you'll likely remove some of the paint from the first coat. Once the second coat is dry, you can add some cute embellishments to the jar. These jars look cute with twine wrapped around the top. You can also add a cute flower or bow, but these jars also look great with just paint, so don't feel like you have to add embellishments. Next, grab your vinyl saying and remove the vinyl backing. Then position the quote on your mason jar. Once it's straight, rub over the vinyl with your scraper and then carefully pull off the transfer tape.
Remove the top from the original tissue container and then pull out the tissues. Keep them folded and then place them inside your mason jar. Feed the centered tissue up through the hole of your circle cardstock cutout and then screw the lid into place. And that's it. This project is finished and turned out so cute. If you like this project and you want to see more like it, be sure to subscribe and click on that notification bell so you'll get notified each time I post a new project.